Bonjour à tous! Today we are going to do the topic IR ending verbs in French. First of all, if you have not revised your ER ending verbs, then I would suggest you to click on the link above and revise your ER ending verbs and then come back to this video. Alright. So let's have a look at the different types of verbs in French. So in French, we have three groups of verbs: the ER ending verbs, the IR ending verbs, and the RE ending verbs. So ER ending verbs are also known as the first group of verbs. IR ending verbs also known as the second group of verbs, and the RE ending verbs as the third group of verb. So we have already covered the ER ending verbs. Today we are going to have a look at IR ending verbs. So what are basically IR ending verbs? IR ending verbs are all the ones which are going to end in IR. So for example, when you have a look over here, it's written finir, IR towards the end, and choisir, IR again towards the end, right? So how are we going to conjugate these verbs? Till now, you might have come across this verb finir, to finish. So let's take the example of this verb and see how are we going to conjugate. So just like how we used to do in case of ER ending verbs, that we used to eliminate the ER and then add different endings, the same way in case of IR ending verbs as well, we are going to eliminate the IR. We are just going to remove the ending IR. So what are we left with? FIN, right? So just like how we used to conjugate our ER ending verbs, the same way we are going to do our IR ending verbs as well, with the only difference in case of the endings. So in ER ending verbs, what we used to do, we used to remove the ER ending, right? And then replace it with different endings. Over here in case of IR ending verbs, we are going to remove the IR ending. And we are left with FIN, so je fin. And we are going to add something else towards the end of it. So for the endings, in case of je form, we are going to add IES. So je finis, tu finis, il finit, elle finit, on finit, nous finissons, vous finissez, ils finissent, and elles finissent. So if you noticed, the endings we have used over here are IES, IES, IT, 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 ISSONS, ISSEZ, ISSENT, and ISSENT. So once again, what's the pronunciation? Je finis, tu finis, il finit, elle finit, on finit. So if you notice, the pronunciation is same. From je to on, it's the same pronunciation. Even though in the ending we have IES and IT different, but the pronunciation is same, fini. Nous finissons, vous finissez, ils finissent, and elles finissent. The ENT towards the end, it's going to remain silent. Here are three more verbs which are conjugated just the same way. So if you notice over here in the first one, that is choisir, that is to choose. So that is basically I choose, you choose, he chooses, she chooses, we choose. In this case, what are we changing? We are just changing the ending of it. We are removing IR and we are replacing it with IES, IES, IT, ISSONS, ISSEZ, and ISSENT. The same way we did with rempli and punir as well. There are few more words that I expect that you should be mugging up. That is accueillir, that is to welcome, agir, to act, grandir, to grow up, nourrir, to feed, obéir, to obey, réfléchir, to reflect or to think, like to think upon something, réussir, to succeed, and réunir, to reunite. So all these verbs are going to be conjugated in the same way, removing the IR and replacing that with IES, IES, IT, ISSONS, ISSEZ, and ISSENT. I hope this much is clear. If it is, And if you think that it was too much for you right now, then take a break, come back again for the second part of the video, and if you think that you can take the second part as well, then continue watching. So yes, in this we have few exceptions as well. Now, these are also IR ending verbs, but they are going to be conjugated differently. So what is the difference? Let's take the example of this word partir, that is to leave. So here what is happening for all the singular subject pronouns like je, tu, il, elle, on. That is je, I, singular, talking about one person. Tu, singular, again talking about just one person. Il, elle, he, she, talking about again just one person, singular. So for all these singular subject pronouns, we are going to remove the last three letters. So we are going to remove IR, but along with IR, we are also going to remove T. So what are we left with? We are just left with P, A and R. Alright? But for all the plural subject pronouns, that is nous, vous, il and elle. Nous as in for we, vous for more than one person, you, il and elle, that is for they. So for all these, we are going to remove only IR. Okay? So once again, for je, tu, il, elle and on, we are going to remove the last three letters of the verb. So over here, the last three letters are T, I and R. But in case of nous, vous and il, elle, we are going to remove only IR. Okay? And then we are going to replace them with the endings. So je pars, tu pars, il part, elle part, on part, nous partons, vous partez, il part, and elle part. So what are the endings? S, S, T, 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 ONS, EZ, and ENT. Alright, that is I am leaving, you are leaving, he is leaving, she is leaving, and so on. So here are three more verbs which are going to be conjugated just in the same way. Pay attention over here in the first case, dormir. The last third letter is M. So we are going to remove the M as well in case of je, tu and il, elle form. Right? So what are we left with? DOR. To DOR, we added the ending S, S and T. In case of nous, vous and il, elle, we are not going to remove the last third letter, that is M. We are not going to remove that. We are going to keep it intact and we are just going to remove IR ending. Remove the IR ending and replace it with ONS, EZ and ENT. So, je dors, tu dors, il, elle, on dort, nous dormons, vous dormez and il, elle dorme. The same way, in the verb to serve, that is servir, the last third letter is V. So we are going to remove that in case of je, tu and il form, right? But we are going to keep that V intact when we are going to use nous, vous and il, elle, the plural form. Très bien. Here are few more verbs which are going to be conjugated just in the same way. These verbs are mentir, to lie, servir, to serve, and sortir, to go out. Remember to memorize the verb sortir. It's one of the most common French verbs. And also dormir, to sleep. Très bien. If you liked the video, then please don't forget to take a screenshot of these verbs, to memorize these verbs, to note them down in your notebooks, and try making few sentences using them. And also try making few sentences and leave them down in the comment box below. And if you like the video, then also don't forget to like, share and subscribe and hit the bell icon to stay updated for the future videos. A bientôt!